Welcome to the Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. In today's episode, we have a very special guest. It's Jerome de Guing. I hope I say your name correctly.
It's as good as it can be.
Thank you. So you are operating out of Luxembourg, an Amazon and Marketplace global agency, and with the name of E-Comas. You're the founder and the CEO. And yeah, your agency made already waves. There's a lot of information about it out there. But I think, Jerome, before we dive into the agency and what you can do actually for Amazon sellers to help them and to guide them through the process, please tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then we go right into it.
So thank you very much. I'm super happy to be here, Omar. We were talking about it before. It's like we've been for a long time in touch and like known faces. So it's great to do that together now. As for me, I was raised in an international background because my mom was British and my father is French. Well, they both still are. But raised in France. I moved a lot when I was young, and I started to work actually 2 years in Istanbul. That was my first working experience, and then I worked for a Chinese group for 10 years, and then I founded E-Commerce with the idea of being multicultural, but also to bring value to the ecosystem. And I didn't really start, so I started like Margin Business 10 years ago. We were talking about it, and I didn't really start specifically on Amazon at first. I started saying, okay, I want to bring value and I want to help brands grow in distribution and sales. It happened to be that e-commerce and then Amazon was the best way, even 10 years ago, to go, basically.
Most definitely. I think, yeah, it laid on the hands 10 years ago that really Amazon is going to be really big one day, and it was just easier to go into the game as obviously today, if there's any other agencies now trying to get in. Having said that, just a quick question out of your past. What do you wanted to be when you were small, when you were like growing up?
So when I was very, very small, I wanted to build houses because I had this comic book where I saw them, putting plaster and bricks and everything. So I was amazed about building things. And I thought that was super interesting. That was small. When I grew up more as a teenager, I think I was excited to be, traveling and being places. And so that's what I do. Basically, I travel a lot. I like to go around and to go one day in the US. Before I was in a Chinese company, I was very often in China, and that sort of makes me, like, movement generally makes me feel better, gives me more ideas, more energy than staying put. Like after a month in the office, I'm really not in a good mood.
Yeah, I understand completely, and this is exactly, we have a lot of things in common with Margin Business as well, because as you know, we're an international company and on the move a lot of the time of the year. So that's sounds really good, and it's already a good beginning when you were already a teenager and had such visions to do such things, and coming with an agency of like e-commerce is definitely it correlates together. Moving forward, like a little bit, I think a lot into the space of Amazon. I won't say like some serious stuff, but yes, let's talk about what's going on in the space, and maybe you can share some insight into the current state of the international e-commerce and the opportunities. What we are looking at in 2024. I mean, we had some really high growth in 2021. We have seen all the aggregator stories and all that stuff. Then 2022, then 23, there was the bubble, which is kind of bursted. We don't hear a lot anymore. A lot is going down. A lot of the aggregators are not here anymore. Do you think that has an effect on the agencies, on the Amazon ecosystem in the US? I mean, especially the US is very, very big. Tell me your predictions for 2024. What might happen, or how does it look? Is it still good to sell on Amazon?
I'll take my crystal ball from the side and start to look into it. So a couple of things is indeed the description I think is very good. The aggregators, like from the beginning, I was very skeptical and of that process of okay, integrating loads together and ooh, that will be great. It's like for me, it's a kind of a private equity thing where you say, okay, we'll add up numbers and it's amazing. But for those who have experience on Amazon, things take time, an awful lot of time actually on Amazon. You can be successful, but you have to build all those things. We're talking about what you do really well is, improving content for great catalogs, but it's a lot of work. And believing that you just add a lot of things together that will be more successful just doesn't work. We tend to go the other way around. It's like, okay, let's slice into small bits to build the success one step after another. So I never believed in that because it's not the way Amazon works. That was my note on aggregators. Sorry, it had to go out.
Okay, no
On
problem.
the prediction, which was a real question, what we've seen in 2023, it's a difficult year. I think I have, in the 10 years I've been in business, I think this year has probably been one of the toughest in terms of especially in Europe, because the pressure on the margin has been, we've seen that a lot. And to be fair, we had a high, we had a level of churn we haven't seen previously, and the like 80% was that the issue was profitability. Like the fact of selling on Amazon was not profitable enough or at all for brands, and they were saying, well, we're cutting the expense because we don't know what tomorrow will be, and we want to cut expense. So this year has been specifically tough. I'm seeing from like that people are coming back to the table, coming back at looking at expanding, and that's very, I think, comforting for me. 2024 will be the, like, what will happen of the war in Ukraine. Unfortunately, that will have an impact. Like, will they, will it end soon? Which I hope, but I don't think will happen. Will it escalate? That has an enormous impact on a lot of raw material cost, and raw material cost directly impacts production costs. And then like our customers, brands, then see their revenue or their profit margin going down, because the time they increase prices is actually, it takes time. So for me, we're on the verge. It could be like things will go back, and that okay, the war is a fact that everyone is understood, and it's going to go the same way, that okay, they're going on their own thing, or something major could happen. And then if there's another pressure on prices, inflation has really hurt, I find, the business generally. And we can see
Definitely.
that, when you find your electricity bill, your gas bill, or when you go and get petrol or buy food, it's like everything has increased, and that puts like the whole world economy like in difficulty. You can check also China is having issues in its own economy. So there's a lot of things happening. Now, e-commerce has still got the basics and the service to the customer, which is really great. So I don't see that stopping. However, how big the growth will be is I find difficult to predict.
Okay, that's I think it's a good reply, a good prediction as well for the general Amazon, or the general economy. Let's say it this way. As well, do you think that the brands, I mean, that it's more like brands are affected, or do you think it's more like the wholesalers are affected, which don't deal with brands? What will be I mean, a better scenario at the moment? I mean, both scenarios are, as you said, it's very unpredictable. But do you think who gets the overhand at the moment? The wholesalers without no brand, or the ones which have actually a brand? What is better to do to start in 2023, 24?
So there's a famous word by Jeff Bezos, which is, your margin is my opportunity. Amazon is famous to kill the middleman. So obviously, the one who's the less steps you have until the end retailer and yourself, the better you are. So building a brand will always be the right answer. Like 20 years ago, it was not, because distribution was complex, was complicated, access to market was tough. Now it's not tough at all. Like e-commerce makes it super simple. Anyone nearly can be a seller. Not anyone can be a successful, but anyone can be a seller and find a way to market, which was not the fact years ago. Now, the fact is, if you have a brand, you have much more control. And it's true that the wholesaler is in the middle. Like if the supplier increases his prices and on the other side, the market is not accepting price increases, then it's your margins which are going down. Now, if you're a brand and you've got a vendor account, for instance, maybe Amazon will not accept your raises, so you're also stuck. Even as a seller, if the market is flooded with your products, for example, and then the buy box is staying at the same level, you can increase your prices, but you'll stop to sell. So there's the dynamic is very difficult to navigate, to be fair, as a brand or as a wholesaler. But I still believe as a brand, you have much more levers in hand than if you're a wholesaler. You can't do much, like you're between two big forces, right?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, it's as well a question of which market are you selling in, and what is your budget actually. I think this is as well something very very important to look at, because when we look at the US obviously has different opportunities than the European Union, but at the same time you will pay as well a crazy amount of PPC costs, and have crazy competition. And this is as well why I'm coming to this point, because e-commerce actually are helping US sellers to come into the European Union or to other international marketplaces. Can you elaborate on the challenges maybe first? And second as well, how can you make this transition smoothly? What can e-commerce help in order to make this smooth? I mean, like your services, and as well in general, how does this look? Is it so easy to do it? Because I know for a fact that many US sellers are actually not very comfortable to put their feet anywhere outside of the US, maybe Canada, but then if you could learn, oh no, it's like Texas, oh no, is supply chain problems to bring it in, conformity certificate, all that fun stuff, So can you elaborate on that, and how maybe you can make this process easy for them, so we have this problem already out of the window?
Well, so e-commerce is a contraction of e-commerce made simple. So that was a bit the tagline and sort of the promise we have in our services. Okay. So that's actually what we strive to do. We help brands expand globally. So Europeans go to US come to Europe, Asian come to Europe, and vice versa. So for us, globalization, or like going international, is a huge opportunity, but it's a complicated one. Complexity means we can offer a lot of value to people by making this complexity maybe not simple, but much easier to do. So typically what an American brand, for example, wanting to go to Europe or wanting to grow, simply said, it's like sometimes winning a few market share, like you said, in the US could be complicated because the market is saturated, because the cost of advertising, because many things. Then the idea would be, okay, how could I expand more and maybe as quickly as possible? Europe is an enormous market. If you take all the countries, it's similar to the US in a complex way, because you have different languages, sometimes different currencies when you look at GBP and euro, but it's a similar size market. And it's a safer market because it's split in different markets. So if you're established in all the markets, you can't lose them straight away. You can fight market by market. Whereas in the US, you can lose everything one day because someone can take your entire market share. So what we do is typically the first thing you have to look at is what type of product you have. If you have a food product, if you have a pharmacy product, if you have something which is highly regulated, of course, that adds a level of complexity, and you need to have a look at, okay, can I sell that product? Is it allowed to be sold in Europe? So that's the first thing. The vast majority of products don't have that issue, but that's the first thing you have to look. If you have ingredients, if you have things this is something you can have a look. We have partners. We there are people who can help you on that. Then the second part is supply chain. Is okay, how can I organize my shipments? For instance, we've opened our own seller accounts for some of the American brands or other brands, saying, okay, I don't know, I want to test the market. Then they can have access that we would buy their products and sell, and we'll follow our policies to follow like pricing. Map pricing doesn't exist, as it's illegal in Europe, so we can't say there's a map pricing, but we follow MSRPs because it's our wish as a seller, and we can sort of speed things up because we'll take care of the taxes, we'll take care of ERP, so the packaging policies where you have to pay a fine and register yourself, all of that. So this can speed incredibly the process. Like once you know the product is eligible to be sold, you can ship your products directly to one of our warehouses or directly to the FBA warehouse. We can sell the products like very quickly in all of Europe. The option B is we look at opening your seller, the brand seller account, and then we start helping you selling into the different countries. Then starts the questioning about like translation, creating content. Margin Business is a great partner on those kind of topics, for instance. And then we make the content like custom ready for every market, and then we start selling. Our policy is we start with the biggest market, so usually Germany, UK, and then we expand France and Spain, Italy, then maybe Netherlands, Belgium, Poland, and Sweden. The last ones are smaller markets where you can't expect huge sales, but you're sort of putting yourself there so that when it starts growing, you're in a good position.
Okay, wow, that's a perfect reply, and I think for anyone who's listening from the US, they understand the complexity, and they understand that going with an agency, it's really would be the easiest option for them if they want to expand. And what I'm always saying is, a business needs to expand. If a business goes straight line or goes down, the business is almost dead. So it's very, very important to not say. And I spoke with this yesterday about with somebody as well on the podcast. Is that some people are just happy with what they got, and if the account goes like 1 million and goes straight line 1 million, it's fine, but what I'm trying to emphasize is that there needs to be growth. Even if you have 1 million, you can improve and bring it to 5 million, the account. You just have to tweak some things and do some things in order to do it. And if this means going to the European Union in order to make more money, I think this is the right step to do, especially in these times we are right now, with globalization, with international markets. And the languages, it's a small thing, it's really an easy thing to do. And this is where I come as well to localization, because this is something as well which is super important. I'm sure you can confirm that for international markets, not only for the European Union as well. If you in the US itself, you have different, almost different countries within the US. Like I call them countries, but I know they are states. But you have like Seattle, and then you have Florida, and there is different cultures in both of these places. So I think localization is super important. What do you think about localization, Jerome?
So I totally agree. I was looking at a product actually on Amazon France, and it was a brasero, like a thing to have a fire in your garden, and just have it's just a bit. And there was a great product advertised, great content, and then the sentences didn't make sense in French. Like clearly there was misspelling, there was like bad translations. And as a customer, and even like being literate about Amazon, knowing okay, it's probably a good brand, it's like it put me completely off. And I'm not like a big French like maniac about having everything perfect, but the sentence is really bad, and it's like that gives you really bad taste, and like it's gone. The conversion is over because it was really long text, really nice bullet points where, you know, as a professional, they really did that well. But the translation, the last bit wasn't done well, and it's over. And like in Europe, we are very picky on language, like specifically non-English speaking. I think probably in the UK they're more open-minded on that. But like Germans, if you make a mistake in German, it's like,
Oh yes,
oh,
definitely.
forget it. In French, over, forget it. Like
Same.
Spain also, you need to be very careful. Italy, because it's less e-commerce world, and it's like the first glitch they say, okay, no chance. So it's really it's like you have a great execution until the translation, because clearly the content is a worldwide content. They did like I'm meaning pictures, everything. The A+ page was great. But then the last execution bit, they said, oh, maybe we'll do it with an AI tool or whatever. And it's like, didn't work out. So that's, as a European, like you talk to any European, they will say, oh yeah, that's major. And you can smell straight away if it's not been very well done. It's like a translation, even like Canadian French, for example,
Oh
and
yes,
French is different. And then
it's
people will
another
say,
world.
that's not the right word. You know, you can't use that. So, and sometimes even Americans and British English people would have differences. Usually it's okay, but like Spanish and South American Spanish is not the same. So it's super important to, if your conversion rate is not good, it's most probably because one of the reasons is a text or the translation localization has not been well made.
Yeah, the localization don't stop as well at the text. It's as well the photos and everything. We've seen so many different things, you know, with the photos as well. Coming from the US into other markets, that they really need to look at them as well, because it's not the same custom avatar, it's not the same customer in general. So yeah, I completely agree with this as well. Coming back to e-commerce and the services, can you give us just like a point where you say, okay, how e-commerce does differ from other agencies in the same space?
So we have like the couple of differences, which comes a bit with my background, is first being super multinational and multicultural. So we have a team in India, we have a team in Africa, in Madagascar, we have a team spread in Europe, and we're starting a team in the US. So for us, multicultural and having people speaking each languages of each country, margin business is very similar in that space because they have lots of people also in all the countries in Europe. But our vision is really to be from everywhere. I think we speak more than 20 languages inside the company. Okay, bringing the Indian teams brings a lot more languages, but it's like it gives you all the Amazon languages are spoken inside the organization. The second thing is that we really try to be a 360-degree solution provider, in the sense that we don't do only account management. We do anything which will help you to come in and expand. Our mission is to help brands grow and expand in either sales or brand awareness, or both, hopefully. So the idea is that you need supply chain, we have supply chain partners. You need tax, we have tax. You need us to sell for you, we can sell for you. Anything we do, DSP, PPC, AMC, we offer the full package, and that's the idea. We are Shopify partners also, so we can do other marketplaces. We try to give the whole package and international, and I think that gives a big difference. The last thing is really the people, which come with a lot of different backgrounds, from ex-Amazon people to ex-brand people to like content specialists and advertising specialists. So the mix of everything, sort of the promise for us is to make it simple and to make you save time. You could do, like, Amazon is not rocket science most of the time. You can do it, but it just takes you ages to learn everything. We do that day in, day out. We've got 50 people working full-time, full day on that. So believe me, any questions you come with, we probably have the answer. Not me specifically, but the whole team, because we have new things coming up and new experiences every day.
Very, very good reply, because that's as well what I'm always saying as well is the companies it's important that the employees work actually in the company and not only when a project comes. Means that some companies are hiring freelancers, which is possible in some part of our, I mean, in the space. But I think specifically for our agency and for your agency, it's not possible, because the time they learn takes so long, because as you said, it's pretty complicated and you need to be updated all the time. You need to understand what you're doing, and this is not possible to just train somebody every 2 days when there's a new project or when something is changing. So definitely it's a very good point, and I like as well the fact that somebody can test with you guys a market and use your account. Actually, this is as well something I really like, and it gives like confidence, because then you can really see how it's going and what is going on. Jerome, I just wanted to ask you one more question. Give us maybe some kind of a message to the world, a quote or anything that you have in mind, which you want to get out there today.
Wow, to the world. That's a good one. Like, I don't know. The first thing which
maybe
comes to
entrepreneurship,
mind
maybe
is,
something for entrepreneurship, something maybe was too broad.
yeah, no, the I've been thinking lately, and the theme which is important to me is like globalization, or like business and expanding and international business is actually something which has a political impact also. And being European, like we've been at war. Like, how stupid could we be? We destroyed ourselves, Europe, by having multiple wars. What helped us go over that was business. They started to do business between Germans and French, and actually now, like, I've got so many German friends. How could our grandparents fight? And for me, it's like it's a bit of a political statement in the sense, like being going multinational, going and selling everywhere in the world helps you understand different cultures. You need to put yourself in the shoes of your customers. Your customers could be in India, could be in Japan, could be in China, could be in Europe, could be in the US or South America. And that sort of helps you shape a totally different understanding of the world. So my wish for 2024 is like more open business and less bloody wars. And so the fact of, like, that's one great thing about e-commerce. And Omar, you're based in the Middle East, and you're going places. I'm in Europe. We could be conversing with people in all over the world, and we have this in common. And the values of the business, which are simple values, but that's one thing which I really like about what we do, is like we grow things and we make probably a peaceful place by just doing business and growing things.
Oh, definitely. And connecting people as well, which is which internationally, which is very, very important. Definitely when we travel, I mean, I'm sure you as well. There's airports, there's planes, there's different business owners, there's different cultures in this. So you pick up a lot and you speak with a lot of people. So I think this is definitely one part where we can really make an impact and improve as well. Because we meet people, and we can, with these meetings, maybe it's only 1 minute or maybe it's only 30 seconds, but we can make a point and change something maybe in their minds. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me today. And I just wanted to ask you, where can anybody who is interested in having some more information about e-commerce or speaking with you directly, to maybe help their business, or just interested how this could happen, where is the best to get in contact with you?
So the best is LinkedIn. You look for Jerome E-Comas or Jerome de Guigné, but that's more difficult. And so if you look for Jerome Amazon or Jerome E-Comas, you should find us easily and text us. The other way is you can go to www.comas.com, and there's a lot of resources, white papers, blogs, and lots of things there. That's, I think, the two best ways. You can also ping us at sales@ecommerce.com. We get all the email, and we'll get back to you.
Great, that's amazing. Thank you so much for your time today. I will put
Thanks a lot.
everything under into the description as well, into the video, so anyone who's interested can just go over it and check out what you guys are doing. Thank you, really. Thanks for your time, and speak to you soon.
Thanks, Omar. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.